Hey guys, what's happening? This is the Smooth Spy, and today I want to talk to you about a little bit of a serious discussion here, and that is why I decided to switch to PC gaming. Alright, so before I say anything else, I want to stress the point that I am in no way a fanboy. Okay, you know, because anytime this comes up, there's going to be fanboys, console fanboys, and then you have the PC fanboys coming in going, yeah, no. First off, after that, I want to make note that when I mean fanboy, I mean those who will stick by a brand no matter what. Those like Nintendo guys who were like, "Oh, the Wii U's great. Are you kidding me? It's innovative." And, "Oh, sure, they may not have many games, but they're great." Ones that'll stick by a company regardless of the quality of the experience, just because they want to stick with their company. Those are fanboys. Everybody else, don't be offended. I am not talking to you. For me, it's not about the brand, it's about the experience and having the best one possible. For example, my first system was the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was the very first one. After that, I went to the Nintendo 64, but then, yeah, I jumped ship to Sony for the PS2, because that was the best experience at that time. And then, oh, yeah, I went to Xbox 360 because even though I loved the PS2, I went for the Xbox because it had the better experience. And then, in this most recent one, I had a PS4. I still have it. But then, after about, a little under a year of having PS4, I went to a gaming PC. Why ask? Well, there are a whole bunch of reasons, and I'd like to go over all of them with you guys. Now, if you asked me a few years back would I go to the being on the PC, I would say heck no. I don't like playing with keyboard and mouse. I don't want to have to upgrade all the time. I don't want to spend so much cash just to get some better graphics. No, I'll just stick with Xbox or PlayStation. But here's the thing. Those things, after I did some research, I learned out a lot of this stuff is not true. In fact, it's the opposite. So, first off, let's go with the obvious, which is one of the main ones is a keyboard and mouse. A lot of you guys who are out there have only played on a controller your whole life, and a keyboard and mouse just feels alien. You feel like you can't actually enjoy a game with it. And I understand this. I had this for a long time. And where I did play the original Half-Lives back in the day, that was it. And even then, I hadn't actually touched those games in a long time. So anyway, here's the thing. I first thought there's no way in the world I'm going to be able to actually play a game with this. But, you know what? I just started playing some games on my older computer just to get the hang of it. And now I'm at the point where I prefer a keyboard and mouse in any FPS game. Now, a third-person game, I much prefer a controller, and we'll get into that. But anyway, so a keyboard and mouse. After some time, you get the feel of it. I know, like, you think, oh, I can't find the buttons. How am I supposed to find the buttons? You'll get the hang of it. I mean, just me in like a week. I was very comfortable. And now I'm like, it's like my home. It's like a controller, except it's much more precise. It's much more accurate. And overall, it's just, the controller in first person feels so inaccurate now. I was so shocked when I was playing on an Xbox again, just feeling how inaccurate it was, how I missed all the time. It wasn't that I wasn't accustomed to it, because I've been using controllers all my life and I still use them, but in comparison to aiming, you can't beat a keyboard and mouse for a first-person experience. Simple as that. And now then, onto controllers. Okay, so on the PC, of course, you can use a controller if you want to. It's not like you have to use a keyboard and mouse if you don't want to. You want to use a controller? Great. Use a controller. Because it's about the PC, it's all about options. And the cool thing about being on the PC is you like an Xbox controller? Great. It works. You want a PS3 controller? Great. It works. A PS4 controller? Great. It works. A Wiimote? Yep. It works. That's what's great about it. Options. You do whatever you want. Whatever works best for you. That is what you do. And on to my next point, thinking that you're going to need to upgrade all the time is simply not the case, because here's the thing. Okay, say you build parts that are not from the 1990s, then unless the only time you're gonna need to upgrade, like every other year, something like that, is if you are trying to run every game ultra 60 FPS on 1440p. I'm not talking 1080p, which a lot of the consoles can't even hit yet. 1440p ultra 60 FPS. Yes, you're going to need to upgrade probably once a year to play all the games. I mean, The Witcher 3 with that, yeah, it's going to be a beast. But here's the thing. You're not aiming for that. If you're not aiming for that, you can coast for so long. If you're not aiming it for that, though, and you want to play on a console experience, the console graphical settings, guess what? Your system's going to last you 10 years. And what I mean by console settings, I mean having all the graphical settings set to what a console would have, because they have to cut a whole bunch of corners, because their systems can't handle all the shadows, all the effects, and all the high quality textures. So they are playing at mainly medium and highish for some games, but as the generation goes on, they start to play in low. A whole bunch of the games toward the end of the Xbox 360 were played on low graphical settings. You play those on a computer, they look amazing in comparison. It really depends on what type of experience you want. You want a console experience? Great, then you can have it and it'll last you just as long as the consoles will, except you're going to get all the other benefits, which I will get into more a little bit later. And if you want all the eye candy, you want the oh my gosh eye-melting graphics, you've got them. Though you will have to pay, but not as much. If you want just higher the console, I mean, we're talking ultra 60 FPS on 1080p. That's very easy to achieve on a whole bunch of games, and you know, because a lot of the new hardware is aiming at 4K and higher resolutions. I think 1080p ultra is going to be a lot easier, especially as the years go by. So it's just going to get easier. So that's another thing to keep in mind. But on to the many other reasons why it's a good idea to go to the PC, and why I did. Alright, so let's talk about price, because this is one thing that I thought in the past. It's like, oh, well, you gotta spend $2,000 or $3,000 just to have something that can actually play games like the consoles, and I don't want to spend all that. I'll just get a $400 PlayStation 4 and be finished with it, you know? Just enjoy the games. Well, here's the thing. That's not true. Okay, so we're just going to say that you build a system totally from scratch, or buy whichever one you want to go. I can talk more about that in another video. That is not the point of this one. Anyway, say you got a $600 gaming computer, okay? So that's $200 more than the PlayStation 4, okay? But here's the thing. Games are much cheaper on the PC. I already made a video about where you can buy your games really cheap, so you can check that out on my channel if you want that information, so I'm not going to go over that in this one. But you can get like brand new games for either $30, $40 when they come out. Yeah. And say you buy 5 or 6 new games every year, yeah. Plus, not having to spend $50 for online play, yeah, that adds up over years. In a couple of years, you have saved cash rather than buying a console. And plus, you still have a computer, which, I don't know, you can do stuff on, like I'm making this video. I couldn't make this video if I was on a console. I don't think PlayStation 4 has editing tools. Not anything besides uploading to Facebook or YouTube. But anyway, on to the main reason why I said to the PS4, so long, I'll still have you for The Last of Us, but that's about it. That's The Last of Us. Oh! Anyway, so that's because on the PS4, I was in a game route. Yeah, there was hardly anything on there. I mean, it's been almost a year since it came out, and there was barely anything out. It keeps either getting delayed, or is a disappointment, or it's an indie game. I'm sorry, there are just way too many indie games on the PS4. When I spend $400, I don't want to play Fez. I want to play, like, The Last of Us. There's a whole bunch of games like The Last of Us? Yeah, there's not. I see everybody, and they're just buying anything that comes out because there's no other options. And then, well, I had the PS4, I was just staring at all these games on the PC. All these games from, like, last gen that I missed, that I wanted to go back to, but I didn't want to because I just had a new PS4. And why would I want to go? Well, why did I buy a PS4 if I'm going to do is play back on my Xbox 360? Why? it's just sad. I mean, there's so many games I lost, and then no, what do? They decide to make them into the definitive edition and charge me almost full asking price again. No, I do not want to pay the same thing I paid for Tomb Raider, where I got it on my 360 only to buy it again just so I can have a game to play. Because that's what a whole bunch of people did. That's why the game sold so much, because it was the only real game on there besides Call of Duty Ghosts and Battlefield 4, which don't even get me started on that. Or what was that game? Second Son? Yeah, Infamous Second Son, yeah. The reason those games sold is because there was no other options. And even now, they're just now getting some games on there. Where me, on Steam, for $149, I have over 60 games. 60 games! I have way too many games to play. I've got lists of games I haven't even touched yet because I don't have the time to play them all. And now there are other games coming out that I'm getting for half price. I've got games up to my eyeballs. You can't say that for the PS4. You just can't. It'll take years to get up a decent library at this pace, and I just didn't have time. I kept my PlayStation 4 for exclusives like The Last of Us. I agree those games are amazing, and I do really enjoy those. But that's it. Anything that I can get on the PC, I will get. And that's what I do. And I love it. And I built my own system. It was not that hard. A lot of people think you have to be an engineer. Trust me, I'm not. You can go watch a YouTube video for Austin Evans, and he will give you a great step-by-step, or Linus Tech Tips. Any one of those guys, they'll give you a great guide to how to build it. Really simple. And then once you get it up, you've actually learned something. You learned how to build your own system. So you're not terrified if something happens. You can just say, alright, I'll just go yank out that stick of RAM and put in a whole extra one. You know, it's not a big deal. And that's how it is. And it's great. And you learn how things work, and you grow as a person. And that's always nice. So, I mean, obviously, it's not for everyone. I'll admit that. But it's not what everybody makes it out to be. And the reason I am posting this is to share my thoughts on how a person who's played consoles their entire life decided to say, you know what, I'm going to go build a PC and play on Steam, and that's that. And that's what I did. And it's not too late for you. If any of you guys are out there, your consoles, you're not quite satisfied with this current gen, you're thinking, this was all the hype, this was what we were waiting for, and this is what we're going to have for the next 10 years, if you're in that spot, the PC is calling to you. And now, of course, if you're a fanboy of Sony or Microsoft, especially with Xbox, I mean, come on, if you had an Xbox 360 and went to an Xbox One at launch, you've got to be some kind of a fanboy in you of some kind, because unless you like really love the exclusives, which can happen, I'm not saying it doesn't, but all I'm saying is, if you're not a fanboy, really, the PC is not bad. In fact, it's amazing. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. A console gamer for life went to the PC. Anyways, guys, this is The Smooth Spy. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to hear more content from me, The Smooth Spy. And like the video if you liked it. It helps me know if you guys enjoyed the video and if I can make more of them like it. And if you are interested in coming to the light in playing on the PC, be sure to leave a comment down below. I will happily help you guys out. And if you are a fanboy just wanting to find an argument, well, go ahead, because my guns are loaded, fellas. Alrighty, everybody have a good one. Thanks for watching.